Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Crest, where we deal with fundamentals and technicals. But the fundamentals for direction and then the technicals for timing and entries. Okay, so before we start, we look at previous week. We had a very beautiful week last week, which we made mention of Dixie strength, as we still was all through the month of October. We had a CAD weakness, we had NZD weakness, and we were focused on basically those three. Then we had China weakness too. So last week Friday, we had a very beautiful data. Okay, so looking at last week data, we had some very interesting Japanese data that came in at 2.4, but they still have a loose kind of monetary policy. And then we had bad JOLTS job opening, which is one of the problems. We had CPI from the Aussie, which is showing that it is weak, it is getting weak, but we'll still talk on that better. We had the GDP from the US, which is coming down. It's not too solid. Then we had this the yen holding their interest rate, but the problem is they are holding it, and it's supposed to be strong for the yen, but the comments they gave out was bad. And then we had a beautiful data from euro, so their CPI data came out positive. So euro is kind of telling us, all right, we are ready. Then the employment data came out solid, so it came out better than expected. And if you look at the trend, it was from 6.5, 6.4, now we are at 6.3. So it's telling us that there's good thing in the euro zone. We have CAD, it came out as expected, so GDP was not solid. The US, we had this core PCE, because the most important data they were looking at is not the inflation data anymore. It's actually the labor data this time. If you look at this, we have 0.4 average hourly earnings. It's inflationary, and it's been holding steady at 0.4. Then we had NFP. That's why they priced in about 106k, but unfortunately it came in very, very bad. But unemployment rate is still holding. So that's what we have. And if we look at it, so my outlook is that we have this hurricane factor and the major striking Boeings. We have, so it means the inflation is actually easing, kind of. So what we do have on this week, we have very very rough week. There's going to be so much volatility. I would advise you take lesser risk. So what we do have this week, we have interest rates for Aussie, we have employment rate for NZD, we have the presidential election for the USD, we have the monetary policy minutes. This is for the monetary policy meetings that just passed. And then we have the IV PMI for CAD, we have the monetary policy reports and monetary official bank rate for the pound, which they are expecting to cut by 25. So we're looking at, and then we have for the dollar, which is also looking at 25 bps for sure. And then we have CAD unemployment data, which we already know CAD is weak anyways. But then this is the big boy, Aussie. So I'm still looking at Aussie strength for this. So they are not going to hold rates. I'm not expecting them to hold rate, but just in case they hold rates, you know that dollar will still be strong for the time being. But if the labor market still softens, then it's going to be leading to future. They are going to cut it. Now, if they are going to cut the rate next week, as they would 25 by 25 bps, the market is pricing. Last time they were pricing 25, but the market surprised us with a 50. The cut could prompt a sell-off, and then with wage growth still holding solid, A rate cut could add to inflationary worries if the growth rebounds. So all those things are things you have to look out for. For the euro, the euro has been going down, but the October CPI, which came out I think on Thursday or Friday, came out very positive. So we're expecting it to push up by the euro, and then the yen, they are still holding their policy, loose policy as expected. Then the Bank of England, as was earlier said, on November 7th, they're going to cut. So, however, the odds of a December cut is less than 15% from around 60% before the budget announcement. So we already know now that if they are cutting, probably in December they will not be cutting, except we have this the CPI data coming out somehow, and it's going to be a very sensitive data for the pound. And the card, we're still weak on this guy because the inflation data is at 1.6, and there's another inflation and employment data that's coming out December 11th. So we're actually going to see a lot of things. But at this juncture, the swap market is discounting a little more than a 50% chance of another half point cut before the year runs out. For NZD, it fell by 5.8% as the central bank gave a 50-point cut. But then the market is pricing another large cut before the year runs out. So long term, the next 1 to 2 months, we're bearish on the NZD. The Bank of Australia have finally persuaded us that it would not cut this rate, but the CPI data that came out was telling us, oh guys, probably there will be a cut, but they're looking at it in the first quarter of 2025. So this is the only central bank in the G8 economy that are still holding, so which is going to be a neutral stance. And let's get that out of the way. For that reason, the next step is technicals. Looking at it, Dixie came to the point we expected it to, exactly where it came. I don't know how to say this, but this is beautiful. So what we're expecting is bullish Dixie all through because of the elections on Tuesday, and then we have the FOMC I think on Thursday. I think either Wednesday or Thursday. So the price is going to push all the way. So still bullish on Dixie. For that reason, Euro USD should still be going down. So potentially, I was expecting it to come to this point, but this guy broke this structure, so it might hover here for the time being, then start moving to the upside. So this is still a possibility, but it could also do bounce from here to this upside. So this is what I'm looking out for on the Euro USD, which it's okay. Then the pound since we are looking at cutting this guy, probably this is going to hold, but it might come here before it starts going to the upside. And then NZD USD, I'm still expecting this guy to be bearish, so it's already still bearish. Possibility of this guy coming lower is there, but the card is still the guy we're focused on. As we earlier said, we expected the card to continue to the upside, but it did not come to our demand as expected. But we had this demand this week, so we took our positions on this particular demand. So this was what we were looking at. Coming to the USD JPY, it was a nice one, but we didn't take this. Alright, since we are weak on, we are bearish on the card, I'm looking at this NZD Aussie card longs. Looking at it from the weekly time frame, I'm bullish on this guy. So this is the bullishness, higher high. You're looking for a higher low to continue to the upside. Going to our daily time frame, we have this, but we are not in a hurry. It would make a whole lot of sense if this guy is taken out. So since we have a bullish stance on Aussie CAD, I'm expecting this guy to break and then continue to the upside, which is the same thing we've been talking about on the Euro AUD, which I took a loss here. Regardless, took a loss there, and I'm still hoping for a change on this guy to short because of the Aussie strength. And then we have the pound AUD, which is it's not too beautiful for me, but if we say this is a lower low, this is a lower low, this is a lower high, this is a lower low, and then this is a lower high, looking for what? A high, a higher high. We're looking for a higher low to continue. So potentially this guy could drop and grab all this, but should this guy or this Australian bank cut the interest rate, then there's going to be a problem, or our biases on the Aussie would be off the books. So expect this guy to come take this guy out probably before going to the upside, but for now that is the outlook. And I'm bullish on pound CAD, which, if you remember what I said last week, we're looking at a break of this structure, pulling to the upside, then dropping, and this was a beautiful trade, which beautiful we took, and I'm expecting this price to come down here for us to keep longing. So we still have a whole lot of movement to the upside. So this is, yeah, so at least we have this is a beautiful setup for the week. And then so we have the USD card, we have the pound card, then we have pound NZD. Yes, so this is our outlook. This was what we were looking out for, and the price came to this point we marked. So this is still having the same outlook as what we, so I'm expecting this price to continue to the upside. There is no drama here. Beautiful setup. So I'm expecting the price to just push to the upside. So we have the pound card, we have the pound NZD, we have the NZD USD, we have the USD card, we have the Aussie card, and probably we would have this Aussie yen. So this was last week, which we expected price to go to the upside, but due to the fact that Aussie came out somehow, so a lot of people would see this as a flag, which is a flag in itself. I don't know, probably this, I would consider this a grab of liquidity to the downside. For me, I would like to long this guy at market open and take this all the way up. So this is a good setup for me, and moreover there's a break of structure here, so it's a good one. And that's it for the week, guys.